So you just click it and then you keep recording.
Oh, we're
Recording.
Oh, there we go. So.
See, it's been so long because we have since moved house this year, and it's been so long that we've actually recorded.
I was gonna say no, like jumping or anything. You just straight on drop the ball.
Well, I clicked the button by accident, so we just started.
No, you didn't.
That's my story.
That's where we go ahead and say it's another year to the end, guys. 2025 is coming to an end, and it has been a year for us. We have gone from our regular setup to a brand new setup because house this year.
Yes, 2025 was the year of the house, which is funny because we say that, but at the start of the year, we had a lot of streams and a lot of games.
We started really well, and then of course everything hit the fan. June officially was moving, and since then it's just been, I've definitely been impacted in terms of gameplay, how much I've gameplayed versus how much I've been doing on house. Not to say James hasn't been doing on house, but
if anything, I've accelerated my games.
More so because I'm like, just let me wallpaper this, you go play game. Which is fair, I think.
It's like we brought all of your hobby stuff over, and your crafting stuff and your side hustle stuff is over, and I just brought bed and PC. And on that, when I wasn't wallpapering or painting or putting up skirting, then
games.
I was just playing games.
There you go.
So it worked out for everybody. But it is Christmas time. It's Game of the Year time. It's Game of the Year show. We have a tipple. You know, this is a family-friendly show, so it's a non-alcoholic tipple. So people think, but so they think. And in the spirit of things, we have a mulled punch.
Ew.
Yeah, mine's gone cold now because we're waiting so long.
That's because we're setting up, making sure, because I can't see the screen this year, so I'm like, I'm going blind. I had to make sticky notes and everything just to know what we were doing first.
Because we have this new room that we're in, a studio setup now, so it's getting there.
It's getting there, but in terms of getting there, we've had a lot of games this year.
Yes.
And we've gone through a lot and seen a lot in games this year. A lot of releases, a lot of consoles, you know? Switch 2 dropped this year.
Yeah, it was it felt like a turbulent year. Not just for us personally, I mean for games as well. It was very turbulent. There was a lot of, again, with this whole post COVID kind of fallout thing, where you had a lot of price hikes and a lot of
people are looking for something new, and they're trying to push for new, and that's why Switch 2 obviously have come out, because everyone's been waiting for from Switch from Nintendo, and they got Switch 2 out. Steam then also dropped the ball on their Steam box thing and everything.
They didn't drop the ball, they dropped
the bomb.
The bomb, really.
It's still a ball because we don't know the pricing of it, so people are still kind of like, all right, you're gonna mess this.
That's true.
So that's why I think the ball is dropped on that, because everyone's like, yeah, but what's the... So we'll wait and see on that one. And then there's obviously been a lot of games that came out and everything, like with the Game Awards and everything. A game I hadn't even heard about all year because I haven't been paying attention won a lot of it and everything. They walked out with stuff, like with all the awards, I should say. So we'll have to come back to that. We've had obviously a lot of group games we've gotten to play and everything. One of them being a very important group game that took the world by storm with the amount of rip-offs of it, actually brings us nicely into your top 3 games.
That is a brilliant segue, I will say, because we can go for number 3 then. We'll do the usual, 3, 2, and as you were going to say earlier, you were saying 1, but I'm like, give the people a hook, give them something to watch for. So I'm saying we go 3, 2, we'll talk about your Cozy Corner, all your cozy games.
See timestamp here for his number, but whatever. So going into the number 3, which we played a lot of, and officially you're the only one in the group who's actually succeeded in finishing the game, and true. Your number 3 is what?
So number 3 this year is the Friend Slop. It's Peak. So I love Peak. I just think it kind of embodies Like the best. Oh, sorry. Were we supposed to do like a drum roll, like a?
No, we're fine.
No, I can edit it. Yeah, editor. You.
I segued us into this. Don't worry.
I don't have
Put
it.
that out. But it's Peak. It is a Peak game.
Yeah. So Peak. What I love about Peak was that it kind of came out in the height of this. What they're calling this friend slop.
You love that word slop. Don't get into that.
No, that is actually what the.
Yeah, I know.
Wasn't that the Webster's Dictionary word of the year? Slop.
Yeah, that's the why I'm saying like let's not get into this. All right, this is like going back into this whole like on the toy show going 6-7 when I don't know.
Oh, the whole kids meme thing.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is that this genre deserves way better moniker than just like slop or whatever crap that people like kind of attach the word to. It definitely doesn't, and it's kind of following on from all those co-op games. So it's a game. Friend Slop is those games that are 4-player, made on like what looks like a shoestring budget, and quick turnaround games that are like 4-player horror games mainly.
Absolutely. But for those who have been under a rock or have been moving like us, who haven't been in their regular things, what is Peak?
So Peak is like the simplest elevator pitch is that it's a co-op climbing game where you try and climb to the top of the mountain, and you have to manage your like health and stamina, and you find items and try and climb to the top of the mountain with your friends.
And it's ragdoll effects and everything.
Yes, it has. That's part of the comedy.
What's the not echolocation? It's voice
proximity chat. Yeah,
that is the best probably thing like about it.
Probably is, because I don't know if this is meant to or not, but the way the proximity chat, whenever say a friend slips or falls down a mountain, you hear them going like the whoa, and then you hear them falling. That just adds so much to it.
Which see some of the highlights that we posted on this already from the earlier in the year that we played, which was absolutely amazing in terms of gameplay. It is really creative. There's constantly updates for it. They've only just done a Christmas update. And as I said, like it's going through different biomes, it's going through different like inventory management. So it's great to be a loot goblin, or it's great to just use all your stuff like some of our players have. Like they will just anything, like, hey, does anyone have this? And they're like, oh, I used that like 2 areas ago for me. And I'm like,
exactly.
The same thing, but fine.
That's the thing I love about Peak. It's so funny because it's kind of for everybody. It's actually quite casual, the nature of the kind of slapstick sort of comedy element to it. So it's quite a casual game. But underneath the surface veneer of that, like you said, the comedy and that casual nature of it, there's actually lies a very, let's say, hardcore climbing simulator. Like it's very hard. Very difficult.
It is, and it's funny because it's all obviously like managing your own stamina and knowing how, and like your any exhaustion or anything like that, or food or hunger. Like there's just enough to make it interesting and playable, while also keep casual.
And that's why all the best, like you see all these clips from it, really funny clips.
There's been about 5 different peak something or climbing peak or so. Like there's just about 5 to 10 AIs that I've seen alone on Nintendo and Steam the last rip-offs of this, and it's some maybe are using the same generation, some are proper AI like pull in. I don't know, like it's a lot of question of it and everything, but someone has seen that this is done really well and they've gone for it, which is very funny because even before I played this with a group game, you actually played a different climbing game, which was much more serious before coming into this.
Oh yeah, that's right. So I played the demo of Karn,
which
was unfortunately delayed by a few months. But yeah, that's a way more hardcore climber than Peak. Peak is made for... it's a low budget, low barrier to entry, like game with friends, like co-op. But you can play it solo. But so the idea is that you start off on a beach and you get your items. You get like different stamina building items, health boosting items. Part of the fun is finding out which of the apples is the non-poison apple.
which of the berries will not set you on fire.
Things like that. But then when you get up to each section, you get a chance to reset, and there's like a kind of a monument that you can get your friends back if your friends die during a run. So it kind of keeps your friends involved all the time. They can become ghosts and still proxy chat to you. So even if you're getting knocked out, there's still a way to interact with your friends, which is good to keep people involved. And then you kind of make it through, there's 5 biomes, and you make it from biome to biome, and each biome kind of has like its gimmick. So there's like the forest biome has like rain in it, which makes it slippy to climb, and then the frost one has like snowstorms and blizzards where you have to like take cover underneath trees and bushes and stuff.
Lava.
Lava is lava.
But it is a really good game. I guess, what was your favorite like element about the game?
The favorite gameplay element was it's hard to say, but honestly, this is the first game where I think our full group chat embodied the entire proximity chat. We would leave the proximity chat or the Discord to join the proximity chat and have fun with it through there. There's so much. We actually have a video on posted about all of our funny clips from it, so like a best of kind of compilation. And it is so funny. It's just all the shenanigans that you get up to. So you can take it as serious as you want, or you can take it as lighthearted as you want, because your actions don't really impact other people. You can just keep climbing. Well, to an extent
it does, especially when like you're like, hey, where is this X person, and then suddenly they just appear as a ghost next to you, and you're just like,
oh, did you fall?
Like, where are they? I was like, we've been wondering the last few minutes. There's like, oh, you're a ghost. Oh, that's why. That's why we couldn't hear you on proxy. That's why we couldn't see you. Like, died. And they were like, yeah, I fell.
Because you died. But the only thing that would like maybe set you back is if they had like a backpack or items that had like stamina. Other than that, you can kind of if you're just a one-man army, then you can just go off and you can get to the next summit on the mountain and then revive all the players in the monument. So it's really helpful and keeps friends involved all the time. That's what I liked about it. I'm not sure what you thought what was your favorite part?
This was almost going to be in my top 3, but because I decided to keep my top 3 as mostly actually kind of like neat games, I figured this would be our like honorable mention of friends, because we did a lot of games with friends this year, more so than solo gaming. Like, I have like a good few are like an honorable mention. We have time, but like it is actually very interesting. I know what your next one is. I have another game that is a group game that I have had a chance to play with you, and I think it's worth going into like how good of the group I did this year.
So that is true. So my second game, which is actually a game what was in early access for ages and ages and ages, and it released, I think, I came onto it at the start of the year, so about February, and it hit so hard because it was a big game, and it's dozens and dozens, like nearly 100 hours I have in it. It just hit that right spot when I wasn't playing anything else, and I got on early access, and I said, this is like way too good to let go any longer. So, because usually I'm not a huge fan of early access, but this one was different. And it's a throwback to all the old kind of, let's say like early like 90s kind of PC first-person shooters. And that game is Abiotic Factor. So this is my number 2 game of the year. I absolutely love this game. It's just everything about it is like the vibe is perfect. So they've hit the atmosphere of the game. So all the environmental details and the environmental storytelling. It's basically it's a first-person survival crafter, which is weird. So you don't really normally get those types of games, especially not in the type of setting that it's in. So it's in like a Half-Life kind of sort of. They're entirely ripping on the whole Half-Life kind of vibe, like the environments of Half-Life.
Absolutely,
which is fine, like, because we haven't ever really gotten that too much, like a successful version, and especially not one in this genre, which is a survival crafter.
Yeah, I would definitely call this a dark cozy game, because like with last year, I think it was last year, I had Dredge on there as a cozy game, dark cozy. Cozy, and it's not necessarily, it is a cozy game. It's not 100% relaxing, but there is that element of just that little darkness in there, little haunted factor. And I've gotten to play this with you, and it is from my little Loot Goblin crafter heart. I absolutely love it, and this is why I claim it to be a cozy game, but it has a very dark element, because the premise is that you are like a researcher. You're going in, like HR is like bringing you in and everything, and you go down into this facility, and then of course something happens. And you get locked down there as like a protocol of like lockdown and everything. And the whole premise is you're trying to work your way out. And it's funny because you think you're going upwards, but you're kind of spreading out and going up. So you have to do like collect stuff, like get pen caps and everything, and like plastic bottles, and make like weapons and couches, loads of things out of it. So it's the crafter that I love of it. But it's also that like haunted spookiness because across things and you do a little bit of fighting, and I remember hearing about some of these things from you before we even played it, and I was terrifying. But
it is actually exactly that, because it has something for most people. So like you were saying with the cozy nature of it, it does have that because it has the gardening elements, and you can have like your little plots of fertile soil that you can grow tomatoes in. You can be a little beekeeper and like find hives and bees and stuff like that. But then it definitely does, it has that kind of scary horror element. Like the game isn't afraid, it doesn't take itself seriously, really.
Some of the sound caps in it is like absolutely ridiculous. I was playing it, I was just like, yeah, I'm just coming across like these random personnel that obviously there versus some of their sound bites are either haunting or just stupid, and you're just sitting there going like, I also think like it's set in the Australian outback.
That's right.
So like some of them have Aussie accents, and like some like lingo in it, and you're just sitting there going like, this is very dystopian, kind of like taking me out of like this. I'm really like tense and like creeping around not to get like trigger like some demon dog spotting me, and just one's like, hey mate, and you're just like, shut up.
That's exactly it. It kind of embodies that how do you say, that Aussie, so it's Aussie, so it's, you have that whole take the piss kind of nature with it. And the scientists, some of them are kind of serious, but a lot of them take the piss, scientists. And then on the flip side of it, it's kind of like I don't know, like Goosebumps, where it's supposed to be scary, but it's kind of schlocky comedy as well. Kind of like not Scooby-Doo, but it's real kind of schlocky. But then it does take itself very, the horror. It ramps up the horror in a certain chapter.
Are like spectacular, but like it is funny because the artwork, as you say, it's a real throwback. Like it makes me really think back to like childhood. Which 100%. Like absolutely, because it's this blockwork artwork of everything, like it's like papercraft blockwork and
low poly, low fidelity
and
graphics.
It's just, I think it really suits it. If it actually did go into full graphics, like I don't think it would be as enjoyable.
I agree with that.
Definitely remove any cozy element and make it more so on a panic to horror like game.
They've hit almost like a perfect trifecta between the comedy, the setting, and with the graphics, it's kind of a nostalgic throwback to 90s, while also being, the scientists are really funny, but then the horror is really good, and the world is really well fleshed out. Like the lore is really good, and all these weird scientific kind of experiments they were doing with all these weird objects and parallel universes
together, and why it's happening and what's happening and everything. I guess in that case, of like, because obviously you mentioned how good the story is, what's like your favorite thing about this game though?
Well, I think favorite thing is probably, it's actually hard because there's so many elements to this game because it's a survival crafter. But I think my favorite thing is exploring each section of whenever you come across you go to a new chapter of the game, or you progress through the story, you come across a new setting. So you have like manufacturing, or you have like hydroponics, or like the office sector, things like that. And then when you get into those sections, you can find new items that gives you new blueprints to craft better items. Some of them could be like makeshift crossbows, or some of them could be like coffee grenades, like you take a mug and then you fill it full of C4, and then you can chuck it, and then it just turns into a mugnade. So things like that. It's really kind of smart with how you sort of improvise with items, and with the story as well. So it's like using office supplies to kind of combat against these weird sort of like sectarian religious sort of cult orders, and all these weird robots, and then these weird beasts from different dimensions come through and all this. So it's really spooky like that.
I guess like, because obviously you mentioned how big of a game it is, over 100 hours, and it is something that like you for a while you were really playing it back to back, and then obviously I joined on our own game, and you're currently playing it with your brother, I guess, because it's such a big game and so much going. How easy is it like you jumping back into that storyline?
That's a good question, and it's something that me and Adam say every time we jump back into it, because we could leave it for, say, a month at a time and then come back to it. And usually a game that you have, a very large settlement in as well, can be a detriment. It's hard to jump back into those kind of games when you've dozens and dozens of hours, and you're like, oh, what do I need to do next? Like, what speaks to what needs to be watered, what needs to be harvested, what needs to be crafted, all this kind of thing. That it's a good question, because this is actually very easy to get to, because what the game doesn't bloat, like it's not bloated, it's not expanded, there's not a million things to do for gardening, there's not a million weapons to craft, there's not a million bits of armor and like leather scraps to find to craft new outfits. There's nothing really like that. It's much more condensed experience, and that is with the environments as well, because enemies are kind of difficult and they can be attuned. That's a great thing about the game as well. So in the settings, you can tune everything to how you like it, how much.
We tuned for me. I was like, no.
So you can tune your piss meter off. You can turn your shit meter off. You can turn your food off, drink off. You can turn all that. Well, it's not nonsense, but you can turn some of the crapper ones off.
I think that's like the most important thing about like what I enjoyed about this game is it can be as intense survivalist game as you like genuinely want, or you can definitely pull it down to cozy, and that's why I call it a cozy dark game, because like you said, like there's like your toilet meter, there's like hunger meter, there's like a meter for fucking everything on this. You can turn them on and off, or like change like their ratios as well.
Exactly.
So, and I think that's like really important to one, because like it is very much a premise of you have to do everything during the day, and at night you got nothing, because it shuts down, everything's comes off, and that's where the darkness, you're kind of like, oh god, what could come get me in the dark?
That is a very memorable moment in the game for me as well, actually. Those first few days when I was first playing this game. So I didn't actually watch any trailers or anything when I seen this game. I think I read reviews on Steam, and then I didn't watch reviews. I just seen like a trailer and a few screen caps, and I read the description, and it was like an old school way of finding out about a game. And I said, hey, this looks like my shit. So this looks like really cool. So I wanted to get in on it. And then I seen that it was also up to 8-player co-op. So you can have 8 friends playing together, which is amazing. And I really like the customization as well to it. You can really tune the game to how you want, like speeding up, how fast it takes to get items, how many items drop, like the drop rates on rare items, which is amazing. But it was a real old school way how I found the game. And yeah, I just really enjoyed it. And just kind of finding out, like I was saying, that's my favorite thing about it, is the exploring and finding new blueprints, like mad stuff to craft. That's like probably my favorite part about it.
Yeah, I guess like even in that regard, it's very interesting. This is Abiotic 2 that we're talking about. I didn't even realize. I don't even know it's out of early access.
Wait, what?
You said Abiotic 2.
No, Abiotic Factor is my number 2.
Oh, it's number 2. I thought you said it was the second one. I was like, hang on.
No, there's only one.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, hang on, actually, you said Abiotic 2.
I was like, what? There's a second one?
I was like, hang on. Well, I actually think it's very interesting, even in saying that, like, if it's actually just a standalone game. Has it finished early access yet?
It has. It launched in, I think it was June.
Nothing happened in those 2 months. I don't know what happened.
Yeah. But that's the best part about the game, is that it launched all the way back then, but I haven't even gotten to the stage, even when I was in early access, where I reached, there's an early access point where a barrier where you have to cross over and then or wait until they create the rest of the game, literally. But I'm not even at that point in the early access even now. So because you can play the game to your own pace as well. If you've more players, that's more. You can take out more enemies easier. Whereas I didn't know what the game was like, kind of spooky and scary when you're exploring by yourself in the dark, and you kind of take a tentative because you can lose all your stuff as well when you go out. Like if you're playing on like harder difficulties or on like Iron Man modes and stuff, there's a lot of stuff at stake. So I was taking it crazy slow. So I'm not even on like chapter 4, and I think there's maybe 7 or 8 those chapters.
This is like a very big game.
It is quite big, but you can make it as big. This is what I really like about it compared to other streamlined first-person shooters with more sort of story focus. Kind of say Doom, which is like level to level progression, and it's just like very linear. You just play one level, beat it as fast as you can, next level beat. This is not like that. This is a more open world sort of crafter where you can take as much time crafting as much things as you want.
And on the floor as long as you want.
Yeah. Exactly. If you just wanted to focus just on combat and not really craft, eventually you will have to craft, important things. But you don't have to do that all the time. You can just focus on shooting.
I think it makes it like a really accessible. I have to say, even for myself, like it was extremely accessible. I know I could always just jump back in.
Yeah, it's really cool like that. It's very easy to get back into, like you asked me about. So easy compared to other survival crafters because it's so condensed as it is. It's not bloated. It's not filled with loads of nonsense to do. It's very to the point. It's just how fast you want to progress and try and take on enemies and get to new places and finish quests. It's at your own leisure really. Because I find with other these kind of survival games, the likes of Don't Starve and stuff like that. For me, they kind of get a bit too bloated and there's almost too much to do and there's too much kind of not fetch quests, but there's too much to be building. Like Core Keeper, there's too much base management, and I like the exploring and finding new items and finding new blueprints.
You would just disappear sometimes in that game.
Yeah. Get the little cart, go into the mines, and then just explore.
Never see you again.
Basically just the Stardew Valley experience.
Honestly, and that's actually like, that was a big thing even for myself this year. Because we were moving as many games, it means that my Cozy Corner is very small this year, even of a selection of what I can come back to, because I ended up getting very back into, I just went whole hand back into my 3 farm and going, why have I not finished this 3-year farm? Let me get going. And I'm just powering through that, which does affect how my year went. It was just I'm Stardew Valley again, and I got 3 people in work into Stardew Valley.
Hell yeah.
On their tablet and phone.
Absolutely. Well, if you weren't wallpapering, then you were playing Stardew Valley on your long-term farm. Pretty
much. And even then, for my Cozy Corner, which we'll dive into going is.
Well, and speaking of that, perfect segue.
Yeah. So it means though that I actually got one of my games is actually a board game this year. Because just around my birthday, I ended up getting the second game from Cardboard Alchemy. It's not their second alchemy, but it's from Cardboard Alchemy. It's called Critter Kitchen. So this is the second game from kind of the same Flamecraft, and I loved Flamecraft. Little Dragons, I love artwork. Oh my god, it was everything. The moment they brought out this game, I was because it is such a good board game, and we played it once, didn't even intend to play it at the time, and then we were actually we'll just play it, and we ended up playing it for our birthday, and it was absolutely so easy, and we ended up just blitzing through it, and we've I think played it once since, and so it's sitting there in a box waiting to play it again with all the rest of my games. So it is basically a board game that you're going to play, and you are a chef running a restaurant.
And it's a big box game, so it's a big
box game, and it's great. I think it's 4 players, and it is a big box game, so that it is, you get kind of I was gonna say, it's I love these sort of games that gives you your own premise, villainous, Flamecraft. I love those style of games. Your own intention objectives, while also doing a little bit of interaction with the rest of the people.
Like a secret objective.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like a secret objective. Everyone in this one though has the same objective. You're trying to go out, collect ingredients with your sous chefs, bring them back, and then create plates so that by the end of it, you're able to critic and each critic in a different round is like obviously critic of it. Game tour is like you might have one a little mouse that goes through it, and there's chefs out there that you can get as assistant chefs and everything. Like it's so well detailed, and it's so good of like the mechanics of on it. Like you know, you have your chefs, you can get your extra chefs if you go to certain locations, collect ingredients, you keep certain ingredients and discard certain ingredients. Each
mix up your play at the fun
stars
locations around town. Don't know what you need?
Stars, many stars. So it is extremely wholesome of it.
So you made a good point there, and just looking at the footage on it, it reminded me that you mentioned that you said that this is a cozy game, and it is in essence. Really, it's not confrontational, but there is kind of a pseudo sort of shadow confrontation to it in a little bit, in the sense that it's my favorite part of the game was when you can actually, so you kind of blindly decide where to go, to which shop to go to get which ingredients, and when that all plays out together and people put their things where it is, it might turn out that your quick little guy got out there first and he can take the one thing away from another person getting it, as opposed to you can send like your big massive chef guy out and he can bring back 3 things, but your little mouse guy is after already going out there and getting one thing that they needed, so you can kind of
that's why
sneak around.
There's that small interaction that you can still sort of caper like to interacting with the other like chefs out there, but it's not necessarily a direct conflict. Like I just hate straight out battling like games. Like
I'm not a huge fan of them, despite what you think.
We'll talk. That's don't mention the war. But it is though. I love those cooperative style games. That's why like I love Villainous. It's why Flamecraft just like spoke to me. It's why any of even the new board games that I have on our shelves are all those sort of, you're doing your own mission, your own objectives, but there is still that slight movement around the board that like you kind of like either, you know, you end up going to the same location and this is chef size, so you're able to do the same thing, and it depends on who's like kind of like I can't remember how they decide like who's the rock paper getting. It's kind of like whatever decides who goes first, and it's so interesting where it's kind of like the oh shucks, I can't believe like you had that good first thing, and it's a lot of risk that has to go through as well,
because that could be an entire turn wasted.
But that's the thing, it could be entire place doing, because each like you have different locations, you have different ingredients at different locations, you have like different setups and different requirements. Sometimes you have special cards that help you, like you have ones that actually hinder you or hinder a player that's with you. So it's very interesting when I did it, and it was definitely a game that I highly recommend to anyone looking for just uncooperative cozy game that is still something that's like a simple setup, but like it's still enough dynamic movement within the board game. Still, you know, enjoy yourself of like, I love moving people. Love moving them around because it makes it more tangible rather than just, you know, sometimes just doing off your dump. Or like that's that.
It speaks to your soul because it's about looting and hoarding things, and you can hoard all your ingredients and make a great meal.
Goblin is like very happy with this.
So what's your favorite part of the whole big box experience then? What's the best thing about the game?
I think the fact that there's the simplistic dynamic of it, which I know probably sounds really weird to say simplistic dynamic in the same word, but at the end of the day is a very dynamic setup of stages, not a simple one round wins. It's up to 7 rounds thereabouts. You can really do it in whatever show, but it's a straightforward, you know your end goal, but you don't know what's going to happen each time, and that's each round makes a dynamic factor of it. Like yes, you know where you're going, you're of 7 nights of your restaurant, but the dynamic movement of like where I'm going to put my sous chefs versus where you're going to put your sous. Are we going to go to the same location? Are we going to send the same one? Are you going to go first? Am I going to go first? Am I going to get that ingredient that I really need to make it work? There's also like star ratings on it, so like it's very simplistic in where it's going. So many dynamic little factors I think really makes it into a big box game. versus just simply being a cozy little game that you're being a chef.
Critter Kitchen
You know?
includes
So
all
that's like, I
trays
love
and
that
more.
it is,
Critter
it
Kitchen,
gives cozy
now on
games some
Kickstarter.
depth to it rather than just going, oh, it's a cozy game where you're a chef. You're like, no, I get competitive because you, as you say, it's not necessarily one that likes the conflict of games. Yeah, sure. But it was really nice because it's not necessarily a game that you yourself would pick off a shelf. You really enjoyed it with me. Really good.
I did like it because, like you said, it strikes all those cozy notes, of course, because you're not in direct conflict with other people. You kind of do your own thing, your own objective, but you can be hindered by other people depending on what's available in each of the shops. There's only a limited number of shops to go to and a limited number of chefs you can send. And if you end up going to the same shop as like another chef, that was my favorite part of the game, I think. Was that and you can also unlock different kinds of chefs. You can hire different chefs with different abilities and skills based on the dishes you have to make.
Rounds and everything. So that's the thing.
Yeah.
It really gives a lot of dynamic. And I got the Kickstarter version, so I got like all the special little widgets.
What are they? Meeples?
Meeples. I got all the special like little meeples for them, and it makes such a difference. I think they're still gonna have certain like levels of the meeples when it's out on shelves, but like I would highly recommend, like as a Stardew Valley girly who Stardew Valley box game, the pressure of folding out a one-person game and do is a lot when it comes to a Stardew Valley game. However, the most like nice thing about this cozy game, yes, it's play as a party, but there's also a solar factor directly, like with like Flamecraft, and I can just sit down and I can just go try and build my little like 7-star like 7-course meal and like get the highest stars for myself. As a solo game, and it's not really big, impactful or anything like that. It's just simple. I can play it, and I think that was something that really drove me to purchasing it. And it drives me to a lot of my like Kickstarter games. Is there a solar factor on it? And if there's a solo like a solo setting, it's a solo way of playing the game, it's guaranteed. Like I will get it in a heartbeat.
That is a huge thing for me as well, is trying to find if there's like solo versions. Although it's very difficult to sit down and unbox a solo board game yourself with all the setup. I do find that a very hard threshold to pass over.
It is a hard one, but it's also nice that obviously when you come to like big box games, because there's like all those little features, how they've actually done the dynamics of the box, you're able to get away with doing a solo game with as much things coming out or not. But it is definitely what I wanted to have as like top 3. So important. One of my next game, which would be is actually a PC game and is in early access, because I decided to go for it. So like with my Kickstarter early access, 3 more games go from Kickstarter to arrive. I went with a early access.
Pound to City.
Yes, so this is an early access. It is a pixelated city builder, which is honestly the cozy vibes for me, because, and I only just discovered this today, is that you'll be walking around your like, oh my god. I was like, this actually is just taking it so much higher to do photo mode and everything.
So it's a top-down isometric strategy city builder.
Yes and no, because you can completely change the angle of your camera how you run. So I wouldn't class it as a top-down like structure, but you would play it mostly top-down, so that way you build it. I would just call it a straightforward city builder. And the idea is obviously that you're trying to go from this tiny little dwelling all the way up to as a city. I have not maxed out the early access elements, so I don't know how far we're able to get in it yet. But I am in my second area. So you've done a little town and built that up, and then they open up farmlands for you, so you can go to another building your farms and wine vineyards and like bakeries with like corn and wheat and everything. I have like warehouses. I'm able to decorate and put ducks in ponds, put out flowers. Like, it is genuinely a massive cozy game that is actually kind of taking, I would say, like the wholesome game area by storm right now, like the cozy people, because it is such an element to it. And like, obviously, once you build like your bear location, you can start getting more quests, so it drives you through like kind of doing certain things building it. Like I built a maze the other day. I also built a graveyard. Did I spend a lot of time on that graveyard? Yes, I did.
It has to look good.
It has to look good. They only wanted like 5 things from me, but I was like, no. I need like my rows and I need my little plots and like I colored the ground.
5 things is in 5 people.
No, they just needed 5. Like they wanted spooky trees, 1 gravestone, a single flower, and I was like, light lanterns or something. I was like, no. You gotta have a pathway. You gotta have it covered in like hedgerow, and you gotta like a little art. I went full detail into this. Even when it came to the maze. That I had to build a hedge maze. I like went into full detail into it.
And there's like a creative mode as well in it or something? Can you just free build?
So there is a sandbox mode, yes. So you can either go through the campaign, which is very free as it is. It's only like make sure to level up from like a dwelling to a hamlet to a village, so on and so forth. And it unlocks different shops, artisanal things, into the farmlands, as I said, I've gotten locked into. Like they have like everything up on their like on the Steam page showing where they're even going with their early access like milestones. So they're extremely active in how they're doing the game as well, the creators of it, and I'm so excited to see how it goes, because I love these sort of like city builders that aren't just straight into like city tycoon, which like is a massive thing, building skyscrapers. This is really genuine, starting really like you upgrade your buildings, you upgrade like it's a real, it is really a town to city builder. Literally, it is what it says in the tin at the end. So detailed on how you progress and what you progress and where you put things, and you can always like be like, I don't like how this layout is, and just move everything, delete everything if you want, and just start again building, because now you know what you need in certain locations and it, depending on where you put things depends on if you are happy, depends on how raw. So there is that still city management style of things, as well as also the builder creator aspect of it as well.
Well, I love city builders and town builders as it is. I think the last great one I played was Against the Storm, which is kind of a roguelite city builder. So it's a little bit different, but yeah, I really liked the look of this when you were playing it. I thought it was pretty cool. But what's the best thing about it then?
I think it's how, certainly at the moment, I do not feel roadblocked into hitting my milestones. I can literally spend an hour designing my little gardens around all my little houses, and it does not affect that rapping on the window going, sorry, you're not going to earn more money unless you complete A, B checklist of tasks. That is not a requirement. I can spend as long as I want designing something before I actually bother to like upgrade or look at what like the requests are. It does not impact the main gameplay if I just want to really focus on designing and where exactly I want to put my ducks and what I want to put as well. So that is one of my favorite things, is that I don't feel roadblocked in having to build something. I'm building this. It's kind of like, it's like Tiny Glade, except like last year, where again, absolutely love Tiny Glade. I started at the start of this year, and I do love it because it's very picturesque and everything like that. But the town to city just gave me that little bit more, like, I guess like goal orientated into it rather than just pretty. But it's still such a pretty thing to me. Yeah, like I'm gonna put this house here, I'm gonna put a fence here, I'm gonna put a light here, I'm gonna put some flowers here, and like this and this. Like it lets me personalize everything up to a certain, like, as much as I want or as little as I want as well.
So how many Wendy's or how many cozies would you give it out of 10? Out of 10 cozies?
I would just straight out give it 10.
10 cozies out of 10?
Yeah. I hit that, like, going out of 10 anyway. No.
Then what do you go out of then?
Absolutely, I'd recommend.
How many cozies out of 100 would you give it then? 94.2 cozies.
I just straight out recommend it. I will be playing this forever. Like, there's too much variations in saying 100, because my 100 is someone different, other person.
Yeah, that's the idea of a review.
But my review would be straight out, like, you're making it complicated. Stop it. Don't interrupt my cozy corner. We're cozy. You're making it stressful. I just highly recommend this. I just wouldn't like put pressure on anyone. I would just recommend it. This is something that's always going to be on my computer to play whenever. I've already jumped into it 5 times today. You just little few minutes of it here and there. Spend a little time fixing this garden I wanted to fix. You just saved it and jumped off and did something else. So it is hot. Like it would just be something I highly recommend. They keep it for how this develops. And then my other cozy game, which is slightly different, much different to this, is of course Bookbound. So again, it's a bit of a management game. It's kind of leaning more into the Cozy Valley games of this one, and this is more so you're running a little bookstore, or filling it in with all your shelves, books, and everything. Also, you can choose what sort of. If you want to do 100% thriller, like shop, you can. If you want to do romance, you can. You can interact with people to help them find books. You can leave them to their own accord, or like it's just you can go outside and do like tasks and little like mini games to try and get people and your sales and everything. Add in like decorations to your place or anything like that. Like just a very cozy, neutral game as well. Like it kind of manages itself in this case.
Okay, so there's not much really to say about it other than like what was your favorite part of the game?
The fact that I can personalize what type of bookstore I want to do. Now I will cater. I have mine currently catering to books, but I'm definitely putting more like in fantasy books and romance books because like most people my place to buy.
It's just like real life with you.
Just like
well.
me. But it's just like instead of like I haven't been asked a lot about like philosophy books, but I also know if I had more philosophy book like selections, that was like you're able to like upgrade your books. You're able to get different varieties, and like you start off with like say 4 in each collection and add to them. Go at the end of the day, you can choose to focus on, and I just think it is a very cozy, simplistic game that like you can just throw on and like have that interaction. But I do think there's certain elements that I haven't gotten to really explore a lot in this game. Again, it was very one of my early years. I was in the year that I was like top 3. I enjoyed it so much. Now I played it on the PC, and I would love to see it if it has come to Switch, because I definitely think Switch games and it's just for how simple it is, pick it up and play it rather than having on the couch or something. I'd much rather be able to sit and manage it or something like that rather than have
more of a handheld.
I feel like it's more of a handheld, and that's a big thing. Like for me, it's either like is it PC or is it Switch, versus you kind of go with like is it this launcher or do I do it on this launcher? Versus I'm like, do I want to hold it in my hand or do I want to sit like a piece?
That's fair.
Because like each sit around like in terms of how they play cozy games. Like Town to City, I would say is more PC, and that's very rare for me to say. But Bookbound is definitely more of a game, just to like sit and there isn't a lot like I would delve like saying more into. It's just straightforward. You want to be able to play like a little Stardew Valley version of book management. I know there's other book management games out at the moment that are like and everything like that, but to me I just thought this was I enjoyed more.
Cool. And how many Wendy's out of 7 would you give this?
You need to stop trying to rail my Cosy Corner, because that's not how we do things here.
Okay, so 7 Wendy's out of 7. Which brings us on to then your most anticipated game of next year, because we always have a Future Frother section, and we always like to talk about or look at our favorite game or that is going to be coming out in the new year.
Funny enough is, because we were looking back at last year's one, getting ready for this, is I had Once Upon a Llama on my Future Frother of going into 2020. Unfortunately, that didn't come out this year.
Well, that's the same with my Future Frother.
And that's the same with yours. And I was so disappointed. Now, it says it's going to be Q1 2026, and I really hope it is. And I did want to give it an honorable mention of like, look, I know my Future Frother wasn't in my top 3. I'm hoping next year it will be, because release even on an early access I would love to, because I love it. But what I have as my Future Frother is, I have a full conspiracy for this, is I think Haunted Chocolatier could come out next year, because we're going into 2026 And, you know, the PC Game Awards had Haunted Chocolatier pop up. And I was like, that's really random because it hasn't really popped up like all year. Next year is the 10-year anniversary of Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley released in 2016 February. So if there was ever going to be something new announced about this game, I am hoping Concerned Ape gives us some sort of cookie crumb in February of next year.
You're like one of those fervent fans of Stardew Valley that just waiting for any
I
ounce
played
of
3 solid months again of Stardew Valley. I didn't like, and I read quite a lot, and I'd say most of my time this year was spent reading rather than playing games. Mostly because it was just to pick up like my phone and read like my Kindle books. Then mentally having to sit down and boot up and play a computer, because for me that's like that they're roadblocks that I'm just like, I'm just too tired for that. Versus I can just sit on the couch and just and flick, like I could get like 5 books done in a week, kind of, sometimes like 5 in a day depending. But at the end of the day, like I ended up fully back in Stardew Valley, and I will always go back to Stardew Valley. That game will always be where like just come back and that is the gold star. That is the 100%
the North Star.
That is the high like recommended. Like
that's the 100 out of 100.
That is what it's recommended against it. Any game I go like, where does it sit next to? Like Cozy Valley, Stardew Valley. Like that's what created my Cozy Valley like rating, is because that at the end of the day is where it next to Stardew Valley. And I play a lot of like Cozy Valley games. Like,
oh, we know you have your entire segment
I know.
just here.
I did Cattle Rancher this year. I've done Sugar Dew Valley. I've done like so many like different like that have popped up this year. Which or even my filled with those sort of games. Coral Island I played at the start.
It's just a cozy PC.
It's just those sort of like it is. It's just all cozy. Have you not seen like our setup even? But at the end of the day, it was such an important one for me. Stardew Valley is because it's a game I will always go back to. There's never a question about it. I will just always go back to that. So the fact that like he even first announced the second game that was going to be just Haunted Chocolatier, completely separate. It wasn't just going to be a Stardew Valley 2, Haunted Chocolatier. I genuinely think there has to be something of a crumb given to us in like for the 10th anniversary. Like what else could he do? Because he's always updating Stardew Valley, so I'm kind of like other than giving us an update for Stardew Valley, like it's the 10th anniversary. What are you going to give us? So I'm holding out hope for my Future Frother next year is going to be Haunted Chocolatier.
Yeah, that's a pretty good game. I remember when this was announced, and I think he's making it himself as well.
It is.
So
It's just
all
one
parts
person. So I'm like, look, if he takes another 10 years to create this, I will wait for it. Like I have like Stardew Valley on my Switch, and I have it on my PC. I think I have it like both on Epic and on Steam, just because I was like, yes, I'm gonna have this because I just want to support him. Like because I just want him to be able to make his game, because it was just, I'm so excited for the Haunted Chocolatier. People haven't seen this and they haven't like, and they've only just seen it for the first time that they are making a new game. Basically, it's a very similar idea of Stardew Valley. You are someone who goes to a town, you become the new chocolatier. You're basically going to be creating chocolate to sell. How that like mechanics work behind that hasn't really felt like displayed much even in the trailer, but like you go around town, there's obviously something going on because haunted element in there. What the spookiness is, don't know. There's a bit of like, you know, going into the forests, you know, into caves, like who knows. It's all this very spooky tone, if you will. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But
Absolutely.
all we know is you become a chocolatier in a place.
Yeah. And there was a spooky element, now that you remind me. Even Stardew Valley has a sort of a celestial undertones of kind of haunted undertones as well to the game.
It is. It's kind of like that hidden like element, like in, you know, everything looks really cute and quaint, and then there's always like that little hidden element, like wizards, and there's a witch, and there's
The shadow monster thing, and
Corvus, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's called Corvus. And like in the sewers, and then you also have skull caverns, and like so much like actually like you can either play it real baseline and never look at any of those things square in the eye, or you can end up going into the weirdest thing in the world, and you're like,
it does go kind of left wing, like left wing. No, what's that? Left field. It does go completely left field. That's what I like about it.
And
You know,
that's why like I'm
kind of
so
offbeat.
excited for my Future Frother to see what happens. And I know even you yourself will be looking at it. But in saying so of Future Frothers, I know you also have stuff.
Yeah, so my Future Frother actually is Slay the Spire 2, which is slated to come out, I think, February or March, but it's coming out in early access. So Slay the Spire 1, most people would know it. It's in the upper echelons of indie game stardom. Well, you may not know what it is, but yeah, okay.
I know it because I know you. What is Slay the Spire to start with?
So, elevator pitch, it's a roguelite deck builder. So you choose from 3 or 4, I think now, maybe decks, and like strength, dexterity, magic, or whatever. And then you build up your deck and go through these kind of encounters to try, and you get more loot. You get coins and experience from beating all these goblins and monsters and all these sort of things, and you keep progressing and progressing. Then you come to a boss, then you go to the next section. Very simple premise, and we have seen this really was the game that launched 1,000 ships. So this has been the kind of let's say a gaming or like cultural touchstone or touch point for most of those deck builders that we see nowadays. Any sort of turn-based deck builder, I always attribute personally that came from Slay the Spire. The popularity got there eventually. The popularity of that kind of sort of stoked the flames of that genre, because we'd never really seen that much before Slay the Spire. Exactly, that's it. Like Stardew Valley didn't come up with the idea of managing a farm, but exactly, it launched it into people's gaze.
So obviously Slay the Spire 2 is coming. So is that a build on same mechanics, same visuals as the first one? Or are they doing like, oh, this is number 1, number 2 is going to be completely different?
Well, you know what? It's funny because, yeah, exactly that. So the second one is the exact same from the footage I've seen, and they only recently released a new trailer and I think a dev interview. But it's going to be the exact same as the first one. It's just more of it. Except I think they're doing 3D now. I think it's like a 3D engine. It's more sort of graphically in depth. The other one was very rudimentary in terms of animations, stuff like that. Whereas the second one now there's a lot more animations. There's a lot more sort of effects. There's a lot like visual fidelity. It's a lot denser and deep. It's more like in depth. So I kind of like that, but I think for the most part, from what they're saying, it's going to be kind of like a Hades 2 is to Hades 1. It's just more Hades. This is, and from what I'm getting, is going to be literally more Slay the Spire.
Well, so there's obviously like that double-edged sword there, because as you mentioned with Hades 2, we also had Hollow Knight Silk Song this year. So, and that was a double-edged sword in itself. Of everyone was super excited for it, but it actually was too intense.
That's a good point actually, because most people, when you get the first game, they are clamoring for a second game. And now, not to say that Silk Song isn't an unpopular game.
Oh, it's brilliant. But
I mean, it is beautiful, and I played it as well. I just found it way more difficult, and I bounced off it a lot earlier than I finished Hollow Knight, but I completely bounced off. Maybe after 10 hours.
That's the thing. I feel like it's gonna be Hades 2 where you finished it, or it's gonna be Silk Song where you played it but didn't finish it because you were like.
True. Now, Slay the Spire 1 is difficult, but it's not Dark Souls bash your head off a wall difficult.
Yeah.
It's hard, and you overcome and you unlock better cards, and you kind of like build and progress like a roguelite. Whereas Silk Song is not like that. You get roadblocked and you gotta force your way through.
But that's where I think, like, when it comes to the second of a game we're begging for, it'll be interesting to see if this Frother ends up being on the Hades side, or is it going to be on the Silk Song side? Because obviously you love number 1, you're excited for number 2. Which side of the fence is it?
That's a good point. Personally, I think it's going to be on the Hades side because it's not an extremely difficult game where you're getting roadblocked and dying. If you die, it's a roguelike, so you go back, you get your roguelike coins and unlock stuff. That's fine. Whereas, yeah, different type of things. Silksong is not like that. Whereas even Hades is like that. You know, you die, you bring your stuff back, you upgrade, and you go back again. So, which is what I'm expecting to be Slay the Spire 2 is going to be like.
Well, hopefully, as it's a frother, that it will be. Hopefully, it releases next year.
That's what I was just going to say. Hopefully, it actually releases. Now, it does have an early, like February or March release. Whereas my Future Frother from last year was Menace. Yes. And that was supposed to release at the end of this year, as in Q4. But now that was pushed back to next year.
Next year. I think this year was a really interesting year for games because it very much was games got either pushed out into next year that was supposed to be the year, or they were delayed by a couple of weeks because a game got announced and everyone was like, well, shoot, now we can't release our game. Even though we had ours announced weeks before, we're going to delay.
That is true. There's only one game I kind of knew that had like a massive effect like that, which was obviously Silksong, because that came out of nowhere. And the same with Hades 2, actually. That came out of nowhere as well.
It did, because like obviously that was on early access for a while.
True.
And then finally it officially launched. I didn't get it until...
Actually, that's a lie. I did get it. Well, I got it for a couple of weeks before it launched. I got it when they announced, oh, by the way, we're coming out of early access in 2 weeks, if you want to get it.
But in saying of Hades 2...
Well, I mean, how do you top the king? Number one, 2025 can only be, and everybody who knows me knows what it already is. It has to be I was going to say the Return of the King, but this time it's the Return of the Queen because it's an entirely different.
Thank you.
Oh, fucked it already.
You fucked it. Come on.
Completely fucked it.
Take it again. It's the Return of the Underworld.
Return of the Princess. I was trying to do a Lord of the Rings bit, but I fucked it. Hades 2, like we alluded to just there 5 seconds ago. It's just more Hades 1.
Segues, man. Come on, man.
You're the princess at it. I was about to say queen again.
No, I am a queen.
We'll let you have that.
She is a princess.
Yeah, so Melinoy is a princess and is Zagreus' brother, who Zagreus is the protagonist you play as in the first game.
She's Zagreus' sister.
Did I say brother?
Yeah!
Oh, I fucked it again!
Take it again! So...
Take 3, Melinoy, princess of the underworld, Zagreus' sister, you play as her, not Zagreus this time. Bang, we're back in. See that? Keep the money rolling. Money keeps turning.
It's a very interesting take on it because it is taking on more of the Greek like information, a little bit of Romans there too, which is very interesting, of like gods and stuff. There is one or two like I'm a Percy Jackson fan, so I've learned most of my stuff from Percy Jackson.
What Roman gods are in there? Because I platinumed this game. I've only platinumed 3 games in my entire life.
We're not getting into that right now because then I have to pull up the whole thing and start talking.
Get the thing out.
Yeah,
Get the thing out.
I said there's touches of it. Anyway,
okay.
Talking of it though, because obviously this is your number one game. And like made people wait like an hour to talk about it. So tell me about it.
So, we're supposed to do a drum roll there. I'll edit that in. Editor, put that in. I'm the editor. Honestly, I don't know how to explain Hades 2 and how it differs from the first one. It's just more Hades in a Greek mythos setting. There's different gods in it, and there's some returning ones. The combat is still tight. The music is still outrageously good. The boss battles are good. Everything about it is so good. Like the systems that you build up and you go to your base, and the story and the narrative is amazing, and how it develops, and the relationships that you build with different people. Now I've heard a couple of criticisms of people saying that the first one had maybe better characters and more memorable characters. I don't think so. I think they're much for muchness. I think they're on par. Maybe there wasn't as many characters, so it's easier to remember them in the first game.
Well, that's the thing. I think like from what I've watched, from what you playing, because I've watched it, type of game that I love, and I'd play 1 or 2 rounds of it, but not necessarily I'd play to the end. But from what I've seen, and especially considering the games I've like watched this year, I think this is where a number 2 game has done itself justice by giving you exactly what you liked in the first one, but doing it different enough that you can enjoy it. If anyone's complaining about like anything with like this game, it's more so because I think they wanted a different, like they wanted to play more Zagreus. If anything, like it feels like they were looking at like more so I wanted more of one rather than, yes, you've given me what I love of Hades ones, but I feel like that's more bounce off that because the characters are amazing. They've given you so much more depth to old characters and new characters in there, which are really interesting to bring forward through. I don't think Echo or an assistant in the first one. So they're really interesting with the story to bring that forward in, and how they've done that dynamic of bringing them in is so interesting. How they bringing in some of the other like more obscure of them, like even it is Hecate that is what she's learning from. So like even learning from her and bringing her forward as being the focus of a character that you interact with is so interesting because it's not normally one that people would focus on when it comes to Greek mythology, and I think it's so interesting that they brought her forward. Even Selene, bringing her forward rather than focusing on Artemis and bringing Selene as the goddess forward more. Like it is so interesting that they have genuinely looked at how they can complement the first one by giving a brand new standalone game really to know what's happening in the game.
No, definitely not. Maybe more so as towards you get to the end of the game where you meet returning characters from the first game. That's the only place I would say that playing the first game would have any sort of relevance. But other than that, you could play this as a standalone, which is amazing. But if you don't play Hades 1, then that's a crime in itself. But in saying that, this game is better than Hades 1, I think, across the board in everything, except for soundtracks. The soundtrack quality, instrument arrangement, and the composition are incredible in how they're arranged. But I think there's more catchy and memorable tunes from the first game, especially battle music and more intense music. That's a personal choice though. So that's the same as people would say, oh, I felt the characters from the first game were more memorable. So that's kind of throwaway, as well as what I say. Maybe people prefer the sounds in the second game. Yeah. That's just a personal choice. But everything about the game, the graphics, like the quality of the artwork is incredible, and the visual effects that are added onto them, like, you know, little visual flourishes, like their armor shining. That's not in the first game. This is in this. The combat is like the first one. It's tight, it's crisp, it's crunchy, it feels impactful. There's 6 new weapons in the game. They got rid of all the 6 old ones in the first game, and they've 6 brand new ones in this one, and they're really fun to play with. One of my favorite parts about the game is that it's really 2 games in one, because they brought in the ability to go up to the overworld or down below, so you can do 2 runs now, whereas you might have felt a bit of Groundhog Day in the first game because you could only go one direction, always do the same run over and over again. You're always going to see the same thing, obviously except for gods and stuff like that, and your roguelite sort of choices, which is obviously randomized, but you'll see the same locations. Whereas this, you can choose to go in a different location each time. So you go down or you go up, and they're entirely different, and they each have their own different gimmick as well to it. So really it is kind of 2 games in one. So it's really like Hades 2.5. It has double the amount of stuff in it. So it's really amazing.
I think like that's the like important thing, that like it knew exactly what it did well, but it also built on it. And I think that's like why it deserves like your number 1 spot, because I really did enjoy it.
Well, Hades 1 is the best game scratch that, because there's 2 different ways of saying this. Hades 1 was my favorite game of all time, but this is probably the best game I've ever played, because this is better than Hades 1, but I have better memories of the first game because that was so new. I'd never played a game like Hades. I'd never experienced the story. I'd never seen characters like that, and even in the Greek mythos, whereas this just built upon that and is better. So while I personally prefer, and it's my favorite, is more impactful on me, the first one, this one is by far the better game across the board in everything. So it's just the depth of it, the characters you meet. There's so many characters. There's so many everything. Everything is just better in this. So that's the only way I can describe it. The only thing I will say that is a bad, it's not like a subjective, like I prefer the music. So I think that this game really has a problem with the pacing from about 30 hours to about 60 hours, which sounds ridiculous. So the game's about 100 hours in total if you go and try and get everything. And from about like 30 to 60, you're not really seeing new gods or new anything. You're just kind of grinding to try and get resources to unlock new sections or unlock new story and stuff. So that's the only negative thing. And also, they're tying... Fishing minigames are being tied to quality of life upgrades, and I am not about that at all. It's like, just let me be able to farm my entire section all at once instead of once, twice, 3 times, and having to do like a fishing minigame to unlock that quality like 50 hours in. It's like, no, just make it easier for people. So that's the only kind of little niggling tidbit I have that's kind of annoys
Everyone
me.
loves throwing a fishing.
Also, Kronos doesn't really do it. Now that I remember this, Kronos doesn't really do it for me as like a final boss, like the big bad villain. Whereas in the first game, Hades was like this. His voice was domineering. It was deep. It was dark. He felt evil. I know he was your father, but he felt like the villain of that game. Whereas Kronos is more of this sort of like metrosexual, sort of frail, gaunt granddad, and that just doesn't sell me as the big bad. Whereas Hades was like this big strong, but whereas Kronos is just time, and that's like a non-tangible thing for us. So it's like, how do we sort of... It just doesn't... His embodiment and the voice acting is incredible on him, but to me, he just doesn't do it for me as the big bad of this game. Compared to Typhon, which is a god the size, or a beast, a titan the size of a mountain. So that is a massive boss, but he's kind of just underneath Kronos as like the main big bad. And yeah, so that's just for me. It doesn't do it. But what I would like to see in Hades 3 is co-op. We've seen so many Hades likes now cropping up in the last maybe 2 years that have started to introduce co-op into their game. If they can do a drop-in, drop-out co-op thing, whereas you could play with, or could play with the group or whatever, my god, that would be insane, because the production quality and the level of detail in this game would be incredible. So speaking of Typhon, you're seeing him right here. This should be the big bad of the game, and technically he is, but Kronos is more pertinent to the story.
Yeah, it's more so, it's very interesting in the day, is because you're able to go to the Olympus or go to the underworld, you're kind of torn between two bad guys. Obviously, at the end of the day, Kronos is the that you are going against. He's the puppet master of everything happening. But it is very interesting as well that, like, at the end of Percy Jackson end of how things happen, I know you haven't read Percy Jackson, but that is actually Kronos comes back in Percy Jackson. That's the whole first books. Anyone out there? The whole premise is that obviously the Lord trying to come back and take over Olympus. Percy sends Typhon onto them. So I'm like, there is no way in hell that these people are not Percy Jackson fans who created this, because kind of just did Percy Jackson, guys. Now, in saying so, they are done very differently. It's just very interesting that they went for that, Kronos kind of setting Typhon on the Olympian. So it's very interesting that doing that, and especially because they're being one of their, I don't know, is she counted as a demigod or is she actually a god?
I think she's a demigod. I'm almost certain.
Which is very interesting, because it means that technically she has a parent.
It's Persephone.
But Persephone is a goddess. Yes, Persephone is a goddess because she's the daughter of Demeter, who is technically also Zeus is a bit of a playboy. He gets around. In mythology, like everyone's his child, basically.
Well, it's all make-believe bollocks anyway. So Hades 3, it's got to be based in reality somewhere.
Has to come from somewhere. But in saying so is the reason why I went on that spiel and tangent and coming back around into it, because everything comes into a tie-in for things, is it's very interesting how they built it, and it's exciting to see if they do a Hades. If one, they go ahead and do a co-op one, because like your point, which started this all, I hope they do a co-op one. They could do a very clever co-op. They really could. And two, I wonder if they're going to branch away from Greek mythology.
See, that's a good point. I honestly think with the Hades series, they have a slam dunk. They don't even need to call it Hades 3. They could maybe call it whatever. But it could be based in a different mythology. And I really think they just keep making these types of games, honestly. They have the caliber to do it. Just go to Japanese mythology, maybe Norse, Egyptian.
They could easily not even go that far. It would be great even if they went to the Roman aspect of something. Because at the end of the day, when you jump into the Roman aspect of the Greek gods, it creates that duality of having dual players, is because you're torn between, are they their Greek version or are they their Roman version? And that would really easily give them a chance of a two-player version of the game.
That actually is quite an ingenious idea, actually. If you're playing a co-op campaign with someone, they embodied Roman and they embodied Greece. Because I was straight away about to jump down your throat and get mad and say no, because Greek and Roman way too similar. They're not distinct enough to be their own. It's not like you jump to Norse or you jump to Egyptian.
Funny enough is because I think that's where like they could do it very well, and I would love to see them do Norse, because I love like Norse mythology. You could do something really cool with them, and don't go down the classic route of Thor and Loki. Like, go somewhere different. There's so many other characters you could do. Like, you could be a Valkyrie, like, and you have to go and save souls from the world and bring them back to fight for Thor, like not Thor, who's Thor's dad, Odin army, and that you could do it that way, that you're a Valkyrie. And you could easily, or you're a lost soul and you're guided by Valkyries to go through the house to get to Odin's like ends to like, and you have to do all the roguelike battles to prove yourself in battle to become something. Like, writes itself, guys. But in saying so, in this rant of the mythology, you can tell I love mythology in itself, but I really do. But the reason why I think it would work as a two-player and why I think they could do Roman is that pull between Roman and Greek is you think that they are too similar, but what the Romans did to the Greek gods is, like with a lot of like, I guess, appropriation of like different things of like, hey, you like this thing, I like this thing, it's just slightly different, and you slowly twist them into imagining this. We of course know Greek like mythology as Greek. We don't know much about the Roman mythology side of things, because normally you end up going into the Roman Catholics, and that's as far as you kind of. But there is such a difference between who is Greek side of things versus who is Aries side of things. Like, they're two very different type of heroes. Aries itself versus Mars are two very different personalities of how they're represented in Rome versus how they're represented Greek. Like, Athena doesn't even exist when it comes to Rome. They haven't said Bellona, I think, is their war goddess, but even then it's not directly like a war goddess kind of thing. So like, there is an easy way to do it, is how to show as a dual player where you're torn between the Roman or the Greek.
That would be a cool idea, actually, really. Now, whatever they do next is going to be amazing, because they have insane caliber for making games.
It's the artwork.
The artwork is massive. The soundtrack, the sound effects, the combat is tight. Everything is perfect. It's perfect. It's the perfect game. Just make more of it. So yeah, it's just, I would love to see co-op so I could play with friends and play with you or play with whoever.
Yes.
Like, you know, just even if it's in the same mythology, different mythology, or even if they don't go down this road and they want to make something entirely different again, then so be it. But it's just Hades 2, probably best game I've ever played.
Yeah.
Like, not even probably, just is the best game I've ever played.
I would, and I think it is a great example of a studio that has identified what they like. They know what the type of game, know how to do it well, and they didn't just go, well, here's a regurgitation of number one. Here's something that is just as good, if not better, for some. We learned from our first game, and we made a second game, and we built on that. And I think that's really important. And it's certainly visible in some other games where they go like, oh man, people just want a number two, let's give them two. And it probably could have waited a little longer. Could have given like a little more thought to it, or you did it so well that it's actually just too hard. Where yes, it's a brilliant game. And don't get me wrong, I didn't finish Hollow Knight because I got stressed out of it and I was like, no. But I love the concept of the game. You love that game and you love Silksong. I don't think you're gonna like go back to it because it is that like rescue at the end of it. It is.
It is. I found it very, very hard. Like it peaked, and I love Souls-likes, but I found the difficulty peaks in that just way too hard. And I started to think that when I would lose or get stuck, I didn't celebrate the triumphs. I was more so celebrating.
Thank God you're done.
Yeah, it was that. It was sort of like lamenting that had ever happened, and oh, thank God I never have to do that again. And then I found myself after I was doing each boss fight, I still kept feeling like that. Why am I really even bothering playing this if I'm not really? I'm enjoying exploring and seeing the game's art, it as a piece of art, like enemies and the different environments and the soundtrack and the sound design. I love all that, but the actual gameplay I wasn't really enjoying, and I only realized that after about 15 hours in. It's like, am I actually enjoying this or am I just playing this?
I think that's the thing, and that was the big difference, and it's why it didn't make you love it, but it's why Hades 2 is number.
Exactly, that's the difference between it, because yeah, Hades wasn't smash your head off a wall, it was everything, which is what made it amazing. But yes, in saying that, how do you even you can't even top Hades 1 or
You
Hades
can't.
2 because it's amazing. But we did play like really good games, like you said. There was Silksong this year, there was and there was a lot of other niche kind of obscure
We played a good amount of like group
indies.
games, if you will. Like we obviously did Peak for quite a while. We did recently kind of got back into first person shooters with the finals. We ended up that was inspired by Friends versus Friends, which you got really hard in, like really into, because like it ended up being a first person shooter with cards to like do those like little power ups and everything like that. We did Repo at the beginning of the year as well, which was a great little game and everything. That like absolutely, I love that. Like that was again a great example of how like proximity chat works well in a game, and it adds to the depth of it. We also did Sea of Thieves at the start of this year for a good few like months, and that was a big thing. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, we played that for a solid 2 months straight. I think it was just we were just on sailing the high seas, playing Sea of Thieves, and
sailing.
Yeah.
We obviously went back to classics like Between Valley. We went back to Rock Galactic that we played.
That game has never been off my hard drive.
No,
it's
never.
it's like the best co-op multiplayer game I've played in years. It just never leaves this hard drive.
We went through like other games.
Oh well, there's so many like obscure little indie games. We played Perfect Heist 2.
Perfect Heist 2.
That was we were infatuated with that. Deceived Inc. is another kind of co-op game we were playing in the group.
RV Dare Yet we did play as well.
Yeah, RV There Yet was a good game, but for me it's still a bit too
Yeah.
janky. And there's
I would say janky I couldn't care about, because that's the fun of it. Like if you end up going over the rock wrong and you fly out of the RV, that's what makes the fun of it. You're like, oh no, like you
Okay,
just
that
glitch
is
out.
quite
That
fun.
is the hilarious
getting
thing.
chased by a bear and falling down a cliff.
And even just moose at one point. There was just a stampede of moose. Anyway, that one is a great game, and I would actually recommend that because they did just add a second map, and that was the big thing for me about that one. That was a great game, but it was one map. And it would be the exact same map that you were driving through. So you knew where everything was, you knew what you needed to collect, you knew where you had to go. There was nothing really dramatic into it, and that's what killed it for us. Like we played it twice and then kind of came off of it because we were like, okay, we've done it. And we'd have to repeat it.
That is the difference between Peak and Are We There Yet? So, well, first of all, Peak is a little bit more stable. Well, controversial to say that because our group had a lot of bad errors in multiplayer with that. Because there would be a lot of crashes. That's one of the bad things with that.
That was more so towards the end, and I think that was more so to do, not necessarily the game, but I think with like the connection. Doing like 4 people over, like, because
it was the game. So I played enough games. I know it was the game.
Did it crash when you crashed?
Yes. Yes.
By yourself?
No, that's the problem. It's when it's the multiplayer that is. It's nothing to do with a connection. The multiplayer was bugged, and that's why it turned our group off the game. But that was the difference. What I was saying about between Peak and Are We There Yet? Are We There Yet, like you said, was just one map, whereas Peak, every 24 hours it would have a different generation. It was like procedurally generated maps, so it was different every day. And there was achievements that you could try and get, and that would unlock like different outfits, which was really cool, like different cosmetics and stuff, which is always fun for the group. So yeah, there's a load of different kind of multiplayer games that we played in the group this year, which really this was, I would say, probably one of the best years for our group multiplayer games, where we just go in and play a few schlocky games.
We did, and I would definitely recommend, even like, but in saying so, we had even though we barely played any, we had a good
I
year.
played a lot. I played a lot when I wasn't wallpapering.
Well, that's the thing, is like that was your downtime versus when I was painting wallpaper, doing something in the house. Your downtime was your games.
And I actually have written up a write-up of all of the games we talked about and more of the games that we played through the year on the Medium site, which I'll link on this video. So I think, yeah, I'll just link all of those. I'm not going to talk about them here because that's why in the past these videos have been like 3 hours long, I think.
Yeah, at the moment I think we're solid on like an hour and a half, and like we're gonna like wrap it up.
Yeah, so I think we have where to find us, and your name's there, my name's there. And then I'll link the Medium as well, where I have written up about all of the games in detail, what makes them good, what makes them bad, and all of the other games that I've tried that I've mentioned that I've recommend here, including Are We There Yet? And The King is Watching, Arc Raiders as well, which is a great game, and The Finals, which we're just now discovering in the last couple of months, which is an amazing multiplayer game. So yeah. This really was like a great year for group and multiplayer games for us. So yeah, 2025, year of the house, year of great multiplayer games, I would say.
Pretty much like that somewhere.
Cheers to 2026. Oh, my punch is cold now, but yeah. Oh, your punch is gone. Okay, we won't cheers, but we'll cheers in spirit. Yeah, you have it. Oh. Wait, now Wendy has the can. Oh, so you have your special can.
I have my special can. I have a beautiful sparkling or peach, sorry.
Oh, well, but the can is usually my bit.
Well, and the mulled wine's normally.
Oh, okay. Well, at least you have a nice can, and in the new year, I'll have my can. Okay, cheers to 2025 and best of luck in 2026. Wait, what? As if you're going somewhere.
Where am I going?
Not anywhere with this house. There's painting to be done.
No, we're finished for the year.
Goodbye, everybody.
Thanks again, guys.
Down it.